This is Barbell Therapy, the podcast helping women build strength, confidence, and self-trust through fitness and real conversations. I'm your host, Coach Kate. Get comfy and let's get into it. Hey Barbell Therapy fans, and welcome back. And I need you to buckle up because I am about to blow the lid on this one, okay? I am not knocking challenges that help people lose weight and get started on their journey. Honestly, I wouldn't be the coach I am today if I hadn't started with my first 8-week challenge in January of 2019. Right after I had gotten reconstructive shoulder surgery. But I am telling you that if you're here and you're resonating with this, then you're probably a lot like me. And in the long run, these challenges won't be what helps you lose the weight for good. So stroll down memory lane with me. I had just started getting into fitness. I was either in the gym 6 or 7 days a week, or I would skip for weeks at a time. And there was no in between. I had dislocated my shoulder and I had a complete reconstructive surgery. And then in comes this New Year 8-week loss challenge, and it was the perfect thing for me to get back on track. So here we go again. We're in the gym 6 to 7 days a week, insane amounts of cardio, itching to leave work early or getting to work late because gym time and me time came first, okay? But it wasn't really me time. It was this need to be in the gym to get these results, okay? I was cooking and eating meals from plastic containers all week long. And yeah, I'd have a meal here or there, go out drinking with friends. And then that just ultimately left me feeling really guilty, right? I lost weight, but what I really wanted out of these challenges was like the recognition. I wanted somebody else to tell me like, oh my God, she's crushing it. And that's where reality set in, right? The in-between came. There was no recognition. There was no one to celebrate with me. My story wasn't that impressive. There was nothing to strive for. There was no direction when the challenge wasn't there. I didn't know what maintenance was. I'm a millennial. We're supposed to be slashing calories all the time, getting skinnier all the time. Why would I want to stay the same weight, right? So then we started binge drinking, ordering takeout, and literally I ordered takeout from this Chinese place so often, and it was around the corner from my apartment. I could have walked there, but instead I ordered it from DoorDash. And I was so lax on going to the gym and just going when I felt like it, all until the next challenge, or then I would repeat the cycle, right? Until I couldn't commit to the 8 weeks anymore. Then I couldn't commit to 6 weeks anymore, until I just stopped altogether. In my day-to-day life, I was stressed, exhausted, and burnt out, and I wasn't regulating well, and I was binging on food, and that was the only thing creating happiness in my life at the time because I couldn't see outside of that, right? But when I tried to get back on track, it felt like this huge hurdle because, again, food was one of the only things that was kind of like bringing me joy and happiness. Not just from these binge episodes or eating cookies and milk and eating like the whole box of Chips Ahoy in front of the TV, but like getting takeout with my husband or going out to happy hours with my friends and trying new things. Like, I was in a relationship, I was in a job that I worked really hard to get, and I was getting lots of fulfillment. But there were certain things that were just bigger than me. I ended up hating working out, which had once been my outlet. That's how it all started, right? All I wanted to do was lay on the couch and eat food if I wasn't at work. And my gut was wrecked, my hormones were shot, my body was screaming at me, asking me for help, and I kept gaining weight. And I told myself it was okay because I was a power lifter and I was active enough at work. Like, look at my work schedule. I was running around a weight room and I was working 12-hour days and whatever. It had to be muscle that I was putting on, right? But I remember having to buy new bathing suits because I was super uncomfortable with the bathing suits that I had. And we were going on this cruise and I looked at myself in the mirror and I just realized like this was wrong. But because I knew nothing else, guess what I did? I jumped back into an 8-week challenge. And yeah, there was support, right? Like there was somebody there that was like checking in on you, but that support wasn't enough. It was literally like 1 to 2 sentences a week that said, hey, you didn't follow your macros. Let's get better next time. Like there was no, what's going on? Is everything okay? Let's peel back the layers. No. There was no understanding of like my day or like what I was doing. It was just what are you reporting? And just very numerical. That's it. But the problem was that I wasn't executing it. I wasn't doing those things, and I literally didn't know how to get myself to get there. I had no clue. So after 2 years of this, I moved on to a coach that will help me with my hormones, right? I saw all of the Instagram posts and I was like, yeah, this is me. Exactly. My hormones are wrecked. That's what's wrong with me, right? And I ended up with a very similar experience. Here, do this, and if you don't, you're a failure. What I'm saying is the right thing, right? As a coach myself, like I help clients and I knew there had to be better. I was like, there is no way that this is like the end all be all of coaching, especially when it comes to hormones. Like this is like pretty personal stuff, right? And I feel like it should be more than just eat this meal plan, don't do these workouts, do these workouts, do whatever. Especially when like the meal plan that I was on was miserable. Like I hated it. It was like a keto type high fat meal plan. And I remember being there and being like, I guess I'll just eat 5 slices of bacon to hit my fat, or actively putting butter just in meals because I just couldn't get enough fat for the day. But then I was starving because I also wasn't being taught that the carbs that I should be eating should have been really high fiber, right? I was just meeting macros. I knew it couldn't just be me that wanted more from coaching. And to be honest, during this time, I was probably one of the worst coaches because that's what I was being taught. Like, and I was made to feel so crazy for the amount of support that I was offering my clients. And I remember I was working with this business coach and she was like, you have to raise your rates over double than what I was doing just because of the amount of support that I was offering. And I was like, there's just no way. Like I was so confused. I was really lost and I was really confused. So I stopped working with that coach and I left, and I was like a little jaded by coaches. And all of this to say, I was still working with my powerlifting coach, which is one of my closest friends, and that's something that I will continue. But I was like, nutrition wise, I knew that there was something wrong with my gut. I couldn't figure it out. I knew that my hormones were wrecked because I did get blood work and that was true. I was just like, listen, I need help because I don't know like, it's so hard. Even though I can help women through this, it's really hard to do it for yourself because you don't see your blind spots, right? Like, it's hard to not justify to yourself to not do something that you just don't want to do. So then I left, and eventually I decided I still needed a coach. I needed accountability. I needed help. And I found a different coach who I'm still with today, where there was constant communications and protocols are done with me and my life in mind. There is actual coaching through the situation. That support is really critical. But there was so much of me that needed to heal. And she showed me my blinds. She reminded me that what I want is hard. My life is hard. And I may have to pick what I'm willing to do, right? That my capacity may cap me where I am in my life. And I talked about this a little bit more on episode 35, if you want the tea there, and like why that basically ended up me leaving my dream job. But I'm going to bring it all back home for you here. If you resonate with this, right, then you and I are probably pretty similar. So while yes, challenges can be great for some people, and plans with no support have the possibility to get you to see results, that hasn't worked for you up until now. And that's because there's a gap and a disconnect between wanting something and being able to do it. And that disconnect comes from you having internal resentment that you need to address. Not understanding your daily capacity, being unable to regulate in your everyday life, and push past that discomfort. And if you haven't heard this yet, I have been there. What you need is the support and someone to walk the walk with you and hold your hand through the fire. You need someone who shows you your blind spots, and that's exactly what we do inside of the Resilience Blueprint. I built a 6-month blueprint to get you exactly where you want to go and bridge that gap so it doesn't take years of trial and error like it took me. The level of support inside is completely different than anything you've ever experienced because I understand how your brain works since mine works the same way too. I'm not here to convince you that you need it. It's your choice if you want it to actually make change for good. I'm just here when you're ready.